slightly different setup than normal, but not for no reason. I need to get my Camry a new pair of wheels, a new set of kicks. Just driving on the freaking highway, I was like, I wasn't losing it, but I was fucking hydroplaning a little bit. And it wasn't even that wet. So, dangerous conditions unnecessarily. Come on, that's fucking stupid. So, I almost forgot that my gym closes at 6 today. Not ideal. It's 4:30 now, so I'm glad I caught it before I took an extra long nap. But, I feel pretty hydrated, decently well fed, had a pound of ground beef mixed in with some fat-free cheddar cheese, some diced onions, and then a bit of, it wasn't low sugar barbecue sauce. It was full sugar, not ideal, but it wasn't that much. So all added up to about 1,000 calories a little bit ago, plus some, various snacks of like protein bars and whatnot. And then I've had a considerable amount of liquid, so I'm ready for a pretty freaking solid chest pump. I was going to go to a different gym where I would have been able to do some incline hammer strength chest press, which I like, but that one's too far away now, so whatever. I'll still be able to get a good lift with incline. I don't know. I've been liking incline Smith machine over incline barbell as of late. I don't know. Just something about the stability is really kind of making me prefer it. At the end of the day, I mean, no matter if you're going to do a dumbbell press, barbell, Smith, bench, hammer strength press, shit like that, you're still working your chest. Like you're still going from here to here. It's just a slightly different feeling. So I'll kind of go through phases. I mean, I've gone through phases where I didn't even want to touch barbell bench, right? And I loved dumbbell. And then I've gone through phases where I haven't really done any dumbbell pressing, and I was mainly all about incline Smith. It's just sort of a how you feel type deal. But, a couple of sets of heavy pressing for chest, followed by maybe some pec deck, maybe some cable flies, maybe some kind of bent over like cable presses where the cables are still wider than shoulder width, so I can really squeeze them together at the bottom. 8 sets of all that combined should be a pretty freaky pump. And then side delts is going to be, I'm probably just going to spam one movement. Maybe I'll just do dumbbell side laterals for all 8 sets. Maybe I'll do the seated lateral machine for all 8. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a combination, no matter what side delt movement you do, be it like leaning single arm cable side raises, or, ones where you're kind of like laying sideways on a bench and doing a 1-arm dumbbell. I mean, for your side delt is just a pretty simple muscle. All it's doing is taking your arm from here to here with load. So, I can understand why people could get a little bit tired of doing, their 8 sets or their 10 sets or whatever of side laterals, because they're like, oh, it's so freaking boring. Who cares, man? It's not boring. It's just simple, right? You don't have to think about moving on to different equipment or waiting to see if you can work in. You get to just pick one set of dumbbells, right? Play with them for 20 minutes. Do your set, take a sec. Do your set, take a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, if all I had to do to get a huge chest was sit on the incline Smith for 8 sets and get a pump, I mean, that's what I would do. And honestly, I have done that before, If I like a movement, mainly with biceps, like if I do a couple of sets of incline, what am I talking about? A couple of sets of just alternating dumbbell curls, and I like it. I mean, I've done arm workouts where the whole bicep portion was just, pick up a pair of dumbbells, 10 reps, failure-ish, and then just gradually work my way down in weight as I get more and more fatigued. Right? A workout doesn't have to be, all fancy and well programmed and symmetrical and just pretty, right? If I love the feeling of incline Smith machine today, I'll do 6 sets of incline Smith and then maybe 2 sets of pec deck, right? Because I do want to get a combination of heavy pressing plus some kind of fly based movements at the end. But, there's no need to do like 3 sets of flat bench, 3 sets of incline, 3 sets of hammer strength press, 3 sets of dumbbell bench, right? It's just, it gets kind of, I think people kind of have a little bit of an arbitrary approach to what a workout should look like in that sense. When, all you're trying to do is stimulate the muscle. If your workout let's just say this, if your workout for whatever particular muscle consists of maybe, honestly, it's a pretty wide range of effectiveness, but what's the word I'm trying to think of? Let's be generous and say it's 6 sets to maybe 12 sets for any muscle, right? And you did some hard sets to failure, plus some squeezing, burning sets towards the end, and you get a pump. Guess what? I think you did it right. Don't get too anal about it. Make sure you try new shit. And as long as you're getting solid pumps and then as well, right, getting some long-term noticeable results, like a trend line of growth, right, what else can you ask for? So let's just get in there, get warmed up quick, and get started. I'm in a touch of a rush, so let's just get this shit started. I did do a proper warm-up, of course. I'll show it next time. Okay. Oh. All right, let's drop it to 3 plates. I would have preferred 8, but there's no chance I was getting another one. Sometimes you got to know when to rack it. Whew. But that's a perfect opener. Just heavy enough where I'm really at the limit of the amount of reps that I could do and still call it a good set. You're not going to catch me doing sets of 5. Honestly, I don't even like doing 7. Typically, I'm more of an 8 or above fan. But that definitely contributed to the tension style of stimulus for my fucking pecs. So let's get another one with 3 plates. Oh. Oh, okay, one more. Okay. All right. I think that's enough pressing on the Smith. Whew. I was just saying this yesterday about why I like the leg extension and kind of just machines in general, because for the most part, you get to, I don't want to say not focus on your form, but there's not as much emphasis on like balance, right? If I were to do incline barbell, I'd have to re-rack the weight probably a rep or 2 sooner than I can on here. just because, for one, I'm going to be exerting myself using stabilizers, and also I won't be able to, push out partials or just kind of sit here and grind through a rep. Like, I guess you kind of have to sort of be experienced to know what I'm talking about, but you can definitely exert yourself more at the end of a set on a machine or like a cable than you could with just a normal free weight. Because by the time I get to like a certain level of fatigue, let's say like 90%, if I fail it on the incline bench, I'm screwed. But I could probably get a little bit of a partial or maybe a few partials out on a machine like this. So, free weights machines, they've each got benefits and drawbacks. Do an even mix of both. But let's do some cable press. So enough of this heavy weight, tension biased sets. All right, now I want to do a bit of a lighter squeezing movement. So cables maybe, well, honestly, a little more than wingspan distance. Not that that's really specific, but all I'm going to do is grab each of them, bend over, and really try to fucking squeeze as if I'm trying to make my elbows touch each other in front of my freaking sternum. One more. All right, let's do some pec deck now. So my technique with the pec flies, if you've seen more than one of these chest days, you know the idea, right? I'm starting off with heavy weight. Well, honestly, pretty much all the sets you do should be at least moderately heavy. I would not do a set where it was like extremely light, unless there was some kind of, extra circumstance like injury or something. So this is a weight that's like, it's the whole stack, but I can manage it. So the first half of the set at least, well, not half specifically, but I'm going to do as many reps as I can and touch my hands, right? Full range of motion, whatever. But as I get progressively weaker, I'm not just going to end the set because I can't touch my fucking fingers together, right? I want to burn out with some fucking partials, So I think I might do 2 here and be done, or I might do 1 here and then finish with a set of cable flies. I'll see how this set feels and then decide. There. Let's finish with cables. So the pec deck felt good, but I want to finish with cable flies. So it'll be a drop set / superset because I kind of change up the technique too. But first portion, pretty intense, just cables right in front of me, right normal style. Then I'll drop the weight by half-ish, bend over, and just do some sort of, downward flies. It feels pretty similar. Like, obviously in both methods, I'm still flexing my pecs, but the stretch is just a bit different when you bend over. So after that, we can check the pump. And just by feel, I'm already kind of freaking excited for it. So I don't mind swinging just a little bit in that first portion, but when I'm bent over, I'm trying to stay as still as possible in my whole body or whatever, and just flex my pecs to move the weight. Let's go check this freaking pump, man. All right, I may have been missing out on a freaking cool little lighting spot this whole time. Interesting. Let's get the exposure down to a comfortably freaky level. And that chest workout, I mean, I started that first set, that only took me like 35 minutes. So, not too time consuming for what I am hypothesizing, and actually kind of just by feeling already knowing is a fucking badass pump. So let's see what we're working with. All right. Oh. I really need to start bringing spare pump covers, because when I do shoulders, I'm going to put this back on. It's fucking drenched. Got a little bit of lint on me, but whatever. Oh. Whew. Even without that many carbs, dude, this is a pretty freaking full pump, if I've ever had one. And I think you know I have. Oh. All right, let's get one more, and then we can just spam side delts. Oh. Oh. All right, let's get back to the lift. Just for the sake of variability, I think I'll go through a couple different kinds of side delt movements that I like. But, I mean, I would be perfectly satisfied just sitting here and doing 8 sets of side laterals on this machine and having that be it. So I think I'll do 2 sets here, and then 2 of another kind, 2 of another, 2 of another. I'll do 4 different ones. And by the time I've done those 8 sets, not even with like that insane weight, like for shoulders, really, I'm just trying to get them pumped up and get a burning sensation. I'm definitely not trying to put so much tension on them like I was with chest or even arms or anything else. I feel like, I mean, I'm not going to say this as a general rule, but for me at least, since my shoulders are already kind of overdeveloped, really I'm just trying to give them some stimulation, pump them up, burn them, and that's enough. But if your shoulders are lacking, right, you got to find out what method of stimulation is going to work best for you. And I can't tell you that. You got to figure it out. But let's get 2 here and then move on. Okay. Oh, that's enough of this. Transitioning more so into a lighter squeezing movement. Obviously, that was like, in a relative sense, light enough. I mean, that was what, like 20 reps plus some partials, but whatever. But this will actually be light. Like, I'm only going to use the 20s because unlike those reps where I was kind of manhandling, really forcing out some partials, with these, I'm going to sit right here, kind of hold on to the bench as so, and then with a 20-pounder, really just try to get a serious fucking squeeze on top, then come back down. So, I mean, you know, I could maybe do like the 30s or the 35s or something, I don't really know, but they'd be kind of quick reps. Like, I'm really going for that squeeze and burn here, more so than normal. Okay, that's good. Yeah. All right. I don't know what I want to do next yet. I'll think about it. Let's just go back to the basics with some standing lateral raises. I'll go a little on the heavier end with the 50s, but not too heavy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and really swing them. Like, you know, I guess by my logic, I could probably say, you know, it doesn't matter. You should break down your form a little bit just to get that extra bit of tension. But I don't know. Side laterals, reasonable form to good form is probably a better end of the spectrum. Just because there's no need to go that heavy on them, right? Like, it's not like instead of dumbbell curls, where I don't mind kind of like a little bit of extra something like that, right? With these, I mean, I do want to be a bit more controlled. Okay. Okay. All right, I said I was going to do 4 different movements. Let's just go back to the machine lateral raise. Okay. Let's go check the side delt pump, man. Ooh. All right. 8 sets of... Ugh. I'm fucking hair in my mouth. 8 sets of pretty solid lateral raises. I'll be real with you, I could have gone harder. You can always go harder. But my side delts are definitely fucking pumped. So let's take a look at them before they kick me out of here. God. So, why do I always train covered up? I just kind of like it, man. Like, I feel like I want the pump check to be special in a sense, right? When I'm actually doing the workout, I don't want to be distracted by like sitting in the mirror and kind of flexing, you know? Like, that's afterwards. Plus, I've said this before, you know, sometimes, let's say you didn't get a ton of sleep, maybe you're not very well hydrated. You can have kind of a shitty pump and not know it by feeling. So let's say for whatever reason, one day, I'm not looking as crazy as normal. If I'm looking at that mid-lift, that could potentially mess with my mind, you know? Whereas if I have everything covered up, I don't have to think about that. I don't have to be distracted by that. And all I get to focus on is the actual sets. Plus, I don't know, it kind of turns the pump check into like a motivator. Like, all right, let's go extra hard so I can check it out at the end. It's like a reward. So let's just bask in it for a moment before we get out of here. Oh yeah. Whew. Dude, holding poses with a fucking side delt pump is kind of freaking tricky. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeesh. All right, let's get in the car, man. They're closing in 1 minute. Oh, gotta go. Whoopsies. Forgot to turn the mic on for the actual car talk. So, this is kind of weird. This is like a Inception, because I'm editing the video that you're watching right now while I'm talking about it. Let's not even think about it. But pretty solid ass chest day. I was saying in the car, because after the lift, I just ended up talking with a couple of my buddies there for like an hour outside the gym. When I got in the car, I couldn't even remember. Like for a second, I was like, okay, we just finished. Wait, what lift was that? But nah, whatever. So, you know, nothing complicated, just some incline Smith, cable press, and some pec deck. I guess I went back to do cable flies too, but whatever. And then shoulders was really simple. Like, sure, even though I did do a couple of different kinds of movements, it's all just a side lateral raise at the end of the day, you know. As the more developed of a lifter you become, you kind of get a little bit of a better sense of your anatomy. Like, you can kind of understand I'd say, it's not like a fucking mental awakening or anything, but you can sort of understand the fact that your arm is only bending, right, because your bicep is contracting, or your lats are contracting, which makes your arm go downward, or, you know, whatever. I've noticed kind of a weird habit I have. When I edit these little clips and I re-watch them, I almost feel like I'm like tensing the muscle as I'm watching the set. Like every rep of the bench, I almost like kind of like instinctively like flex my pecs a little bit. Probably some weird shit going on in my mind. But like the longer you lift, you'll just kind of develop I guess more of an, I want to say in tunedness with your whole fucking build. Like right now, I can fucking pretty much flex whatever muscle I've got everywhere. Like forearms, triceps, biceps. Fucking squeeze my butt on the seat, flex each pec, whatever. And I think, you know, that's sort of like a unspoken skill. I guess it is kind of spoken. We've got the mind-muscle connection everybody brings up. But, you know, the longer you lift, the easier that shit's going to be. And then you'll be able to make your little movements more effective, right? A guy who can really feel his biceps squeezing when he's doing bicep curls, even if he does the same number of reps with the same weight as the guy next to him who is just doing the curl and thinking like, okay, curl it up. Okay, put it down. Like if he's really thinking about contracting, he's going to get more out of the movement. And I can, well, you know, who knows? Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee he's going to get a better pump. Like if you're doing those little cable presses that I was doing earlier, and you just kind of do them thoughtlessly, right? You're leaving stimulation on the table, right? I'm really trying to fucking squeeze and get that little bit of a burning sensation. I noticed one thing too. I probably should have referenced it when I was doing it, but those pec flies that I was doing at the end, where I kind of had my shoulders a little bit sort of scrunched up, the way or the reason that I was doing it like that is because that sort of upward movement really lets me feel my upper chest fire. Like if I put my chin down, I can feel my upper pec sort of run into it. So that was kind of the logic there. So, you know, sometimes you can have little tweaks or whatever of your form, but if you yourself can feel whatever specific muscle you're targeting, like firing and squeezing hard, and guess what? You're doing something right, you know? Don't always be completely concerned with like the perfect way to do it. You know, when I don't understand why people get on me about doing the curls. I'll see some comments where when I do the dumbbell curls, I kind of lean to one side or the other while I'm doing them. I don't stay perfectly still, right? And what I guess if I had to explain my logic, it's like by bending over, I'm kind of making my arm more vertical. Because when you get big enough, your arms don't fucking fit on your sides anymore. They kind of naturally bow outward. So if I'm hitting my biceps with these dumbbell curls, I want to bend over a little so that my arm is perfectly in line with the ground, right? So I don't have any weird torques or whatever on my wrist. So, you know, right? Figure out what works best for you and do it. You know, I guess that's honestly the best advice I could ever say. But plan now for the rest of the day. I already did my 30 minutes of cardio at Planet Fitness. My phone was nearly dead. It was at like 5%. So I didn't play any Clash Royale. I just kind of listened to music because I don't want it to totally die, right? I don't want to just sit there and pedal. Even with the TVs in there, they weren't showing me anything cool. So 30 minutes of cardio, if you're not doing anything else like on your phone, it could be a little bit boring. I'll give you that. But come on, you've got your freaking phone with you. Or like I've seen a Nintendo Switch on the cardio machine. I've seen books. Come on, right? Just do a little something. It's good for you. Plus, then I got to do a little bit of like not really a pumped pose down in the locker room, but just from doing your cardio, you kind of have an extra little bit of veininess because you got your blood flowing. So I'm probably going to cook up a pound of ground beef, mix in some fat-free cheese and maybe some low-sugar barbecue sauce. I'll pack that with me because I'm going to watch my brother's golf tournament pretty soon. And then I'm going to come back for back and rear delts. So what kind of gets me is all the gyms around me, for the most part, they close at 6. Oh, Planet Fitness closes at 9. Maybe I'll go over there. Maybe I'll see. So I'm definitely not going to be able to go to some of the gyms that I like because they close at 6, and I'm not going to be back by then. So tomorrow's back and rear delts video will either be in the home gym, because I've got the barbell for bent over rows, or maybe I could do some landmine style shit. I got a cable for some pull downs, especially one arm is perfect. Plus the pull-up bar, I can bust out some pull-ups. And then rear delts, if you've got access to some dumbbells, even light ones, and I'm talking like 20s or even 30s, you can hit your rear delts pretty well. So maybe it'll be a home gym lift, or maybe I'll just go to the Planet Fitness, to be determined. But I'm definitely not just going to skip the lift because I was a little bit extra busy. That's fucking crazy. So I'm going to finish editing this little lift together, upload it, and then I'll freaking see you next time.